Hello and welcome to the final Swiss round of Grand Prix Cleveland. I'm Brad David Marshall. I'm joined by Marshall Sutcliffe. And you know what? We started out this pod watching Christian Calcano and Mark Herberholz draft, and now we are watching them play for their tournament lives.
Yeah, both of them drafted excellent decks featuring white as a primary color. Calcano went into green, while Herberholz went into blue, but neither of them went any further than that.
Yeah, and Calcano was sitting right next to Herberholz and was rude enough to not pass him any of the High Sentinels of Arashin that he opened.
Right, and that was plural, yes.
Mark Herberholz comes out of the gate pretty quickly here. He's got a Jeskai Student on turn 2. He attacks, plays a Mardu Horde Chief with Raid. Calcano does not have the Raid trigger for his Horde Chief. Two attackers for Herberholz. Calcano, who lost last round to Gerard Fabiano. Mark Herberholz, I think, took a loss to Valentin Mackel.
So both of them find themselves with the old winning in here. It's not 100% guaranteed that the winner gets in, but it's pretty darn close.
Right. There are anywhere between 1 and 3 players who will end up missing with just 2 losses.
That's right.
Calcano's taking his time here. Finally decides to get out the way. And there's a face-up Watcher the Roost.
Yeah, Herberholz is on the beatdown plan here for sure.
Which means he's got a fistful of blue cards.
He might.
Or could be bluffing something.
I mean,
that would be a pretty savage bluff. You know, you're bluffing like, oh, does he have feet of resistance? Well, he played the Watcher face-up.
Yeah, that could be. That's true. You'd probably just take the life gain there, but it's possible.
4 mana is the magic number for Calcano.
It really is. So his deck features 2 High Sentinels of Arashin. Those are the primary cards that he got that were kind of the big stunners, but he's got a pretty well-rounded deck that is lacking in removal a little bit, but I think in this matchup his removal is going to be really, really good. He's got a pair of Hunt the Weeks, and those are really good against the type of deck that Herberholz drafted.
Pair of Hunt the Weeks, a Savage Punch.
He's got one
and I believe
Savage
one
Punch.
Smite the Monstrous.
And he has that.
Which may actually struggle a little bit for targets.
Yeah, I wonder if he even put it in the main deck here, Calcano. No, it's not.
Okay.
Which is good. He'll keep it away from the main deck as well from Herberholz.
All right. Herberholz plays a Sandstep Outcast and continues to go wide.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting turn because Herberholz has left up mana for Disdainful Stroke, and we're going to see if Calcano is going to walk into that or not. Calcano is kind of in the unenviable position of needing to do something to affect the board. He's going to play a Battlefront Khrushchev that he took pretty high in the draft. Herberholz has to read it here, and I think it's going to get snapped off. I think you take the opportunity to counter anything, and Herberholz says that's the one that's not that important. So he figures he can get the job done in the air. He
probably knows about the High Sentinels at this point.
He probably does. He's heard the rumbling rumors around the venue here. Though I have to say that this really does slow down Herberholz in a pretty big way. He's only hitting for 3 in the air now, and Calcano gets to keep developing his board. He just drew a Hunt the Week.
So we have a game result from the back table. Andrew Cunio's already up a game. Turn 1, Mardu Woe Reaper. Turn 2, Mardu Woe Reaper and Blood-Soaked Champion. Turn 3...
6 power on turn 2?
Turn 3, Molting Snakeskin. Play a Mardu Skull Hunter. You take 8.
Discard a card?
Then turn 4, attack for 10.
Wow.
Got a game in the books.
That explains why we're on like turn 6 here and their game's over. So here's Hunt the Week that's going to try to take down the flyer, but that's not going to work. This one is going to get
screwed, sure. Calcano has
the good news for Calcano is that he's got, we mentioned the pair of High Sentinels of Arashin, and if he can find one of those, it's pretty likely to resolve now.
Yeah. Another Watcher.
He's going to need to find one quickly, though.
Find one quickly and then have to worry about crippling chills and all sorts of tempo cards, force away, stuff like that. from Mark Herberholz to just finish the job.
Oh, man, it looks like Calcano had a pretty nice sequence set up too here. He was going to go for the Hunt the Week, and then he was going to play the
Obs on Battle Priest,
in his hand here and try to gain a bunch of life. He's also got a Dragon Scale boon in his hand to help with that plan as well, and I think that's what he's gonna change his plan to that here. He's at 11. He's not dead in the air yet, but he's dead in a couple of turns here. He's going to be taking 5 in the air per turn. Plus, if Herberholz sees that the way is clear, could attack with all of his ground creatures to get in for 1 extra damage as well.
So, do you think plays the Battle Priest here?
No, maybe.
Plays the Battle Priest here, says go.
Yeah.
Next turn can attack with
something.
The Krushak, which can only be blocked by 1 creature.
There you go. And
then Dragon Scale boon it. Get in for 5, gain 5.
It's not bad.
Oh, wait.
Awaken the Bear main. Oh, wow.
He has Roar of Challenge.
Roar of Challenge, and that is going to be on a 6-power creature. It's going to have Indestructible, and everything has to block it. All those creatures you see there have to block it. A really risky play by Calcano, but he feels like he's far enough behind that he needs to do that. You know, you mentioned a card like Force Away or Crippling Chill. That would completely wreck this whole entire line. But as it stands, he's going to get to eat 1. He's going to kill
he gets to kill 4 creatures
3,
here.
4 creatures.
Yeah, 3 1-power creatures, a 3-power creature, and then the Jeskai student's the last in line, and he's like, okay. Wow, that was great.
It worked out great. Like I said, it was a risky line, but he definitely... Crippling Chill off the top for Herberholz.
And there's a Jeskai Wind Scout.
This is where Calcano really needs to find one of his High Sentinels or another copy of Hunt the Week to stem the bleeding here. He does have the play that you were talking about earlier as well. So that Battlefront Krushak's going to get in there, and he's going to play the Battle Priest now. Oh, it's actually Island. So Herberholz is actually completely out of gas here. But he's going to kill Calcano next turn if Calcano can't gain some life. But you know what? He can. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is that Calcano doesn't have... He's not going to play around anything anymore.
Right.
He's just dead in the air next turn anyway. He's at 3. So he's just got to go for it. And he's going to.
Yep.
And it's going to work.
Announces his attack step. Maybe something gets Crippling Chilled. It gets Dragon Scale booned.
Yeah, and it doesn't. And right now, Herberholz's hand is plain.
Oh, he doesn't have the Crippling Chill.
Yeah, he didn't have it. It was a Jeskai Wind Scout. So.
Gotcha.
Oh, he's got to Hunt the Week here.
Oh, look at this.
Well.
So it gets a counter.
He gets lifelink, and then he gets to attack with it as well. I guess he can attack with everything here. Yeah, this works. This works just as well. It takes even more pressure off the clock, and now he can attack at least with the Horde Chief.
Right. So he goes to 9 here.
Yeah, I think you just attack with the Mastodon there too. You take the hit from the... You're trading 3 damage for 1 or maybe 2. Yeah, maybe that's wrong. Either way, right now the thing is that Calcano can't mess around. He has to put the pedal to the metal.
Is he also holding a Dragon Scale boon? Is that the last card in his hand?
Yes.
Wow.
Now, if that resolves and Herberholz has another land in his hand, then Calcano's going to completely crush this late part of the game thanks to the Obzon Battle Priest. If instead Herberholz finds some way to get that Battle Priest off the battlefield, he might be able to sort of restructure here and try to get back into it. But you know, this does get interesting. That Krushak means that he can't be double blocked now.
There you get a look at Herberholz as he surveys the board. See Josh Utter-Leyton playing on the back table, playing against Jake Mondello.
See all the people watching on the stands here too. There's a Jamie Park up there. He's watching his friend Andrew Cuneo play against David Glacier on the back table.
Yep. There's also a William Jensen hiding behind Christian Calcano's name.
Yep.
All right.
Wow, so
no
Herberholz
attack from Herberholz.
passes.
He pumps the brakes.
And that should signal to Calcano that it is time to go.
Did he just draw incremental growth?
Yep. Well, that seems a little better than Dragon Scale Boon here. That's going to diversify him out even further.
But he's just gonna bash.
Huh. He could have, if he plays incremental growth there and puts anything on the Mastodon, he's forcing chumps across the board here. And remember, Herberholz doesn't even have the luxury of double blocking, even though I don't even think he's in a position to double block here.
Yeah, I don't even think, I don't know if he can even muster one.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that Calcano's taking a much safer line here, because if he just does this is fine, right? He's gaining 7 life in this transaction, going to 16 and hitting Herberholz for a heck of a lot of damage. Another land off the top, and that's going to do it. Wow. Land for Herberholz after a really impressive start.
Yeah,
instead,
you can tell. His hand was such that he ended up having to play Watcher of the Roost face up twice. So would that 4 life have made the difference if he had some way to activate him? Probably not.
Nope.
What he really needed was crippling chill. He really needed but we know that wouldn't have even mattered.
So I'm assuming that Huey took Jamie Park and just threw him over the ring side, just like like a wrestler. He wanted to stand there, and you see him.
All right, so now we see Mondello and Josh Utter-Leyton, Jeskai Elder for Josh Utter-Leyton, and the controversial Carsey High Priest.
It's like creeping into our top 5 cards, at least played of the weekend. We've seen this all over the place, and it's not very good.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean,
not terrible. Don't get me wrong. But it's not. It's not a high pick. Doesn't always make the cut.
I was talking to top seed Eric Blanchett about it. I said, this is a card, I tell you, a number of the pros think this card is, I believe the polite technical term is poop. Unplayable. We've heard Owen and Huey both say, rather publicly, he said unplayable.
I've also called it that publicly.
Okay. He's like, look, I gotta tell you, I play with this card a lot. And I played black-white control, and I find the card is just, you end up just grinding the game really long, slow it down, you take over. He's like, I know what to do with it.
Okay, that's fair. that is the place for those sort of niche cards to fit in, is when you find a strategy that they're actually quite good at.
By the way, Jake Blanchett, undefeated still.
Yeah, has not lost on the weekend.
Cunio's already won the match.
So where does that?
Dagatar got
so where does that put him?
He was 8th and he won.
He was 8th and he won. All right, we're gonna call that a top 8. Yep, very likely. It's about time for Cunio, who seems to put up incredibly consistent high-level finishes, but just seems to lack those big flashy finishes. So I'm quite happy to see him nearing a top 8 here.
Always the
It's always Willie Loxodon. It's just
again. It's going to be Willie Loxodon again because it just got whisked away.
Yeah.
Multiple pressure points from Josh Utter-Leyton.
Uh-oh, he's got more?
Yeah, he had
Defiant Strike. That's going to get the Elder big enough to eat.
Yeah. 2 morphs.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right, we're not going to get that Elder quite that big. Rotting Mastodon seems pretty good here, actually. See if Josh Utter-Leyton has his Mystic of the Hidden Way face down there.
Looks like he's got a elite Dragon Scale here. Elite Scale Guard.
Elite Scale Guard?
Elite Scale Guard, yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. Oh, that's a lot better in that scenario.
All right, just attack with everybody.
I love this attack. And that made Jake Mandelo actually just cash that creature in. He's just like, look, if it's going to get Singing Bell struck, I'm just going to cash it in with my Carsey High Priest here. Did you say Elite Scale Guard?
Elite Scale Guard.
So Raptors up 1 game.
Yeah. And meanwhile, back on the main table, Jeskai Student and a 2/2 Einok Guide and the Sandstep Outcast. I feel like I've seen that play on turn 3 more than Morphs this tournament.
It does feel like that, doesn't it?
But there's never a Sandstep Outcast in the pack when I draft. Everyone seems to have them. Oh yeah, that's right.
To your right took it.
Calcano plays a Morph. He has a pair of 2/2s. Against the 1/1, the 1/3, and the 2/1 of Mark Herberholz. Mark Herberholz has brought in a Smite the Monsters from his sideboard. I see it in his hand.
That seems very
Not his
appropriate.
main deck.
Calcano did not, I'm assuming. He has one in his sideboard as well.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine that he did.
Yeah, he just saw nothing that actually fit the bill.
Abzan Kingard.
So that's going to get lifelink.
Once he has a... No, it's going to get Disdainful Stroke.
It's going to get Disdainful Stroke. But if he had a black or white permanent
Yeah.
alongside it, it would get lifelink.
I like that card.
I do too. It would be really good in this matchup as well.
Really sweet with Hunt the Weak.
Oh, yeah.
So fly over for 1, get in for 1 with the Student. Always scary to block the Jeskai Student. If they have anything at all.
But you know what's not scary? Taking 1.
Yeah, exactly. Herberholz sort of slow on his mana development. He's missed a couple here. And a Horde Chief for Christian Calcano.
Herberholz found a Plains this draw step. What do you show him?
Smite the Monstrous.
It was either that or Feet of Resistance. We really don't want to show him Feet.
Gets in for 3. This seems a little familiar. It's kind of how this game started out last match. By the way, it looks like now I want to see, has Calcano has brought in his Barrage of Boulders. That's the sideboard card he brought in.
How did he do that?
Well, he has two, I believe, 2 Windscarred Crags.
So he brings all 3 of those in.
And he has 3 Einok Guides in his main deck. So he can bring in the Windscarred Crags and 1 Mountain. And if he wants red, does not have a hard time finding it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, BDM. Calcano has noted that not only is there a chance that he's going to have to break through a big board stall, but more importantly, it kills a lot of Herberholz's creatures outright. Like, just resolving that spell, you know, like look at the board right now, it killed both of the flyers immediately. There's also Jeskai Wind Scouts in Herberholz's list, along with more random tokens and even another Watcher of the Roost. So it makes a lot of sense.
Calcano flips a Pine Walker.
He knows that Smite exists, and this is the opportunity for Herberholz to fire it off if he's going to, because if you let Calcano untap and he has Feet of Resistance, you feel really silly.
And Calcano is holding High Sentinels of Irration, so he really wants to draw the Smite out.
Well, I mean, the High Sentinels dodges Smite.
Well, until you put counters on.
Yeah, you just don't.
Yeah.
You know, you just rumble with the thing. It's still a 3/4 flyer. Oh, is that a cancel?
It is, but
he can't cast it. Feels like he's pretty compelled here. I mean, that Pine Walker is bigger than anything Herberholz has going on by a significant stretch. He can't let it survive, I don't think. And if you can't let it survive, then this is your window to fire off your Smite.
And that's what he concludes as well.
Yeah. He knows that there's bigger fish to fry down the road, but a 5/5 is just too huge on this board. And now we're going to see Calcano windmill slam.
Yep.
The High Sentinels. Bang.
And showing Feet of Resistance in terms of, but he does not have one in his deck.
He didn't get one. You know why? Because Herberholz took him. So things looking really good for Christian Calcano right now.
So Treasure Cruise
or
for
did I
Herberholz.
speak too soon?
Does find a Whisk Away. Incremental growth.
Incremental growth, and that is going to make the High Sentinels a 6 power, 7 power, 4, 5, 6 power in the air. And it's going to significantly increase the ground game here for Calcano. He has to do the math again. So it's 4 power with its own counter, plus it's getting +2, +2.
It gets +1 for each other creature
yeah,
with
so
a counter
it's
on
6 power. So that's 10, 14 damage coming across to Mark Herberholz in this attack step while he's effectively tapped out. Oh man. Calcano's made his move. Deal with this. And you know what? Herberholz is going to have an incredibly difficult time.
I can't. I'll take it.
Yeah. Ouch. Drops to 7. Yeah, Herberholz's chances of winning this game have plummeted. Now, it's not impossible.
He does have a whisk away.
Yeah, and also a crippling chill. So he can kind of keep the monsters at bay. The question I have is just, what about his clock? Because now all of Christian Calcano's threats are really, really scary. He's going to get to whisk away the token, which is effectively going to kill a 4/4. Pretty impressive.
Herberholz is, if I'm not blocking, I got to be attacking.
Absolutely.
Gets in for 3. Interesting to see how this goes. So here comes the crippling chill. He cripples, crippling chills the Mardu Horde Chief. And is going to use the Dragon Scale boon on the Mardu Horde Chief before attackers.
Love this play.
He's like, well, you know what? I still want to attack with this guy.
This forces a chump block on that card too, because it plus either creature is lethal now.
Herberholz also has a cancel.
Actually, that was true before. What's that?
He also has a cancel. He could cancel this.
But this means that he still has to chump block if he cancels.
Yeah, he has to chump block and take
6, go to 1.
Yeah, he does. And here we go.
Yep. And you know what?
Oh, Waking the
Calcano
Bear
has it anyway.
Wow.
He was also
Christian
just 1 mana short from putting a counter on itself.
Yeah. Christian Calcano goes to 13-2. Should be locked for the top 8 here. Mark Herberholz does not get a Pro Tour invite. Falls just short on the comeback.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
It was a great run. It was fun watching him play all weekend. Turns out he's really good.
He is really good. Here we go. We're going to just check in on Josh Utter-Leyton versus Jake Mondello. There's the Carsey High Priest. There's a Morph. And there is Cloud Form for Josh Utter-Leyton. Something happened to it. It died. It was a kill shot.
It got injured.
Yeah.
Wow, Mondello's doing a really good job controlling the board this time. That was
Hunt the Week.
Yeah, injury into Hunt the Week, right?
Yeah. Another Morph and a Wetland Sandbar. One of your favorite cards, Marshall.
I don't hate it.
But
I like the artwork more than the rest of it.
You don't love Bitter Revelation?
Oh, no, I thought you meant Wetland
I meant
Sandbar.
Bitter Revelation.
Bitter Revelation is actually one of my favorites.
Yes,
cards.
I know.
You are correct.
Bitter Revelation into Gurmag Angler.
I love that sequence. Oh, that's a thing of beauty right there. I'm sure Josh Utter-Leyton would agree with me, or disagree with me at this juncture, but...
Yeah, and then we're just going to attack here into a Morph.
And I think he's going to flip this thing up.
Flips the Woolly Loxodon up.
It's always a Woolly Loxodon, but on the other side, Dragon's Eye Savant's doing a good job of soaking up 5 damage here.
And what did it say? It looked like a handful of gas, though.
Yeah.
All right. Josh Utter-Leyton.
Yeah, there's an Einok guide, or excuse me, an Opson guide in there.
Oh, he has a whisk away.
Active player, please finish your turn, then proceed to the 5 additional turns to finish your match. Once again, to the Sunday Series players, that is time in the round 7.
There's the Elite Scale Guard.
which died. He got Grim contested.
Oh, okay.
Did leave the 2
Yeah,
counters behind on
does
the,
leave a legacy.
Yeah.
And the sandbar gets in for 4. Jake falls to 12.
He knew what he was drawing.
Yes.
Ooh.
Right of the Serpent, your sandbar.
For value.
Yeah, gets a token out of it. And passes the turn.
Leaving Josh with 11 toughness and 1 power in his aggro deck.
Josh looks like he's holding a Mystic in the Hidden Way, a Pressure Point, and an unknown card.
Thanks to the Karsi High Priest doing effectively nothing on its own, Josh is actually pretty stable. You know, the High Priest might generate some advantage down the line, but, you know, the fact that when it hits the battlefield, it just doesn't do much means that the Josh is going to get a little bit of a reprieve and maybe can try to set up that a 4-turn clock with his unblockable creature.
So Jake Mondello, part of this new trend of sleeveless Magic players.
Yeah,
Ben Friedman, Andrew Bosworth.
The tank top crew, yeah.
All right, get in for 1. The Sage Eye. And deploy his Mystic of the Hidden Way face down.
Face down.
Fittingly.
It's not a bad hand.
No, Rakshasa, Death Dealer, and Woolly Loxodon. Not sure if it's the same Woolly Loxodon or not.
Sure it is, and then the Scoured Barrens as well. Which is really interesting, these little tiny things that happen. Like you just saw Josh attack for 1 in the air. That got Jake down to 11. Jake can play that land and get himself back up to 12. But if Josh hadn't attacked, that means that the Mystic that you see here, it would have been a whole nother turn worth of clock.
Yeah.
Like it, you know, they say every point matters, and this is when those type of things actually pop up.
It stays a 4-possession game and, not a 5-possession
right.
game.
And I mean, you know how that goes. That last draw set, you know how it's always Woolly Loxodon? It's always Treasure Cruise into the wind. You know, it's just, it's one of those things that you just can't let people have extra draw steps. And Josh is scrapping for every little point. You see his good friend David Ochoa walk by behind him.
Didn't recognize him.
That's been happening to the Ochoa a lot lately.
So it looks like Pressure Point, Singing Bell Strike, and Jeskai Elder in hand for Josh Utter-Leyton.
Josh, who's sitting at 10 himself.
Yeah, with a couple fatties waiting to get in there.
Yeah, I mean, that Dragon's Eye Savant, a lot is hinging on that right now. It's holding back the Gurmag Angler. If it were to untimely disappear here, Josh could find himself under huge heat.
Okay. I will take 1 of my 4 possessions. Get in for 3. And Jeskai Elder. Oh no, Singing Bell Strike on the morph.
Again, Josh, assuming that that's going to be the Woolly Loxodon.
Right.
So this is going to crimp the mana of Jake pretty hard.
Except he's going to use the Karsi High Priest.
He's just going to cash it in.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think Josh is okay
it
with...
was an Abzan guide.
Oh,
It
it was
was
the
not
guide.
the Woolly Loxodon.
Which is even better
Right. So the
for Josh
Yeah.
that that's dead. As he didn't have a great block. In fact, he just didn't have a sweet
boy.
block at all. Uh-oh. Abzan Ascendancy, anybody?
you were looking for a way to break through that.
Yeah, to try to get this race going. And like, the Dragon's Eye Savants is going to shrink a bit here. Somebody grab a handful of dice. Because Death Dealer followed immediately by Abzan Ascendancy is a nice rip for Mandelo here.
Is.
Mandelo playing down here.
And by the way, now his Karsi High Priest lets him cash his cards in for spirit tokens.
Yep.
So pressure point is going to tap the Gurmag Angler. And if Jake didn't want Josh to draw a card there, he could actually counter it with the High Priest. You give up your Angler. Mm-hmm. He's going to pass the turn.
I think Josh would have been fine turning pressure point into destroy target.
Yeah, obviously.
Or actually, I shouldn't say destroy.
Yeah.
It turned it into reality shift.
Plus a 1/1.
True. Can Josh squeak out a win here?
He's still got his same clock.
Yeah, it's still there. The problem is
Jake has gained a possession.
No, but it feels like Josh is falling behind here now that the Rakshasa Death Dealer and the Gurmag Angler are going to be able to just rumble. Death Dealer has 2 pumps available right now, so it can get up to 7/7 itself. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for Josh to pull out.
So Defiant Strike on the Mystic of the Hidden Way.
Yeah, it doesn't change the clock. I think he just wants to draw a card here,
yeah.
Try to find a Treasure Cruise.
It looks like he has a Treasure Cruise. Draws 3 cards. By the way, that's 2 prowess triggers.
Yeah, good eye.
On the Jeskai Elder. So that's now a 3/4.
And the biggest creature it's facing down is a 3 toughness creature. So that thing can actually attack now.
Don't think it will with the High Priest. Oh.
This is interesting. You think the snake would just chump it? And then it's just tapped and he doesn't get to block anymore? Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right,
yeah,
BDM. He would just block and then High Priest away whatever it blocked. He might do it anyway.
All right.
Oh wow.
Jeskai Wind Scout.
What is this? That thing got sacked?
Yes.
Yeah, the Wind Scout doesn't change that much just because of the pesky 1/1 flying spirit tokens. This is going to be tough for Josh.
So that's great. You get a manifest and a 1/1 now.
He's got 2 cards in hand left. I think they're both planes though. Jake Mondello wants to even things up.
Okay. In comes Gurmag Angler. In comes Rakshasa Death Dealer. In comes what may or may not be a Woolly Loxodon.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that Josh is going to think that it is.
Yeah, well, we know it is. He has no cards left in his hand, and
He had Zippo?
yeah, he's got 1 card he just drew this turn.
Well, I mean when he played it.
You thinking about keeping the Loxodon back?
This is a complicated and close game here for these 2 gentlemen.
Get in with a Manifest and a Morph that has a +1/+1. So he leaves back his Snake, and he leaves back his Karsi High Priest, and he leaves back his Spirit Token.
Please check the parents' boards and make your way to your seats quickly. Please don't
All right. Jeskai Elder gets chumps.
Yeah, it's an interesting block because Jake can either pump up his Death Dealer to get over the top of the Dragon's Eye Savants, or he can flip up the Woolly Loxodon to kill the flyer. Feels like flipping up the Loxodon's where you want to be.
That sounds like what he's going to do.
He gets to eat an actual creature here by doing this play. He does not get in for damage other than the Manifest.
Right.
It's only 2.
So Jake has basically 1 turn to figure out a way to win this game, deal with it.
How about a bounce spell? That doesn't get it done, right? Bounce the spirit, he just Karsi High Priested away. No, that doesn't get him an extra spirit, so that actually would do it.
Right, but he could actually just eat one of his creatures with a counter on it.
And just make a spirit anywhere. So what would he eat?
He just Rakshasa the Death Dealer if he doesn't feel like he's going to be able to use that mana.
Okay.
All right. Josh Utter-Leyton gets in for 3. 1 turn remaining.
Wow, this is insane. So
Yep, so gets a
Jake
spirit,
has to get
manifests a new creature.
for 8 here.
Sorry, you can just cash in the manifest that was there. Doesn't have to be a creature with a token on it.
No.
Yeah. So now suddenly he has 2 flyers, but he has to stay alive.
Well, he's got to kill Josh here.
Yeah.
Josh goes chump, chump, and I think Josh just dies if he doesn't have anything. I mean, look how much power Jake has now. He can jump block the Angler and the Woolly Loxodon, and then he's just dead. So if Josh has drawn something here to prevent this from happening, I think his draw step was
And
canceled.
the Karsia High Priest has to attack as well?
No. He doesn't even have to. He could attack with it. That would make that thing lethal too, but he hasn't. But either way, it doesn't matter.
There we go. Obs on Ascendancy. Jake Mandelo forces game 3.
Good and close.
Day 1 MTG t-shirt, so you know he's hanging with Ben Friedman.
Josh is wearing his patented
Yes.
CSB shirt.
Yes.
He wears that one all the time.
2 different like flavors of intensity here.
Yes. They're both intense though, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Though it does look a little different when one's wearing like this sort of black work shirt and the other one's wearing a yellow tank top. But they do both seem very dialed in here.
Again, Jake's 13-1 here, and he's hoping. He's like, well, if I lose, I might still be, but I could lose and miss. My tiebreakers are such that I could fall out of the top 8 from 13-1.
That would be such a heartbreaker for him.
He no matter what, he clinches a Pro Tour invite at 13-2.
It's based on record.
It's based on record.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone with X2 record will get the invite, even if they don't make the top 8.
I love that rule change.
Oh
by the
my
way.
gosh, I love that so much.
Like falling out of top 8 is already heartbreaking.
I like
That-
record stratified invites for all these things. It's
Pro points too.
yeah, I love that. It's just like the difference between being 25th and 26th at a Pro Tour, or being 8th and 9th at a GP is so infinitesimal sometimes. All right, we got a game 3 coming up here.
Josh looks like he's going
Yeah.
down.
He's going to 6.
Well, that'll make things tough for him.
And it's conceivable that if Josh wins this, that both players are in the top 8. Mm-hmm. But if
Do you think Josh is saying that to Jake right now?
there's zero chance Jake is scooping to him.
And Josh is out of the top 8 with a draw here, so
Yeah,
that's
he's
not
out of
on
here
the
with
table.
out of here with anything but a win. Sees 2 lands. He's gonna keep this. There's a Whisk Away, there's a Kill Shot, there's a Dragon Eye Savant. There's a Frostwalker.
That's a good start.
There's an Heir of the Wilds from Jake Mondello. So
Josh
both
will
pla-
happily offer this thing up.
Yeah.
Ooh, this does look like a decent hand from Josh, although I believe he's missing his 3rd mana.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and he knows that he's not going to be able to win this race, so he's actually just going to pass. Interesting play there from Josh Utter-Leyton.
So more from Mondello.
Obzon guide.
Yeah.
He drew a card he could play at least.
Right. Plays a Wetland Sandbar.
But with every fading land drop here,
Yeah,
Josh
oh,
is
yeah.
falling further and further behind. It's a shame he's got a nice hand.
Well, that's what happens when you don't have any lands.
Meanwhile,
Your hand
Jake
fills up with
Mandelo,
cards.
yeah, he knows how to do it. 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4, unmorph on, well, doesn't want to unmorph into the Frostwalker here.
No.
Plays an Inut Guide, plays a Morph. Passes the turn.
Perfect curve. He's used up every bit of mana at every stage, starting from turn 2 to here. And Josh did find a plains here. We might actually have a game yet.
Yeah, I mean,
Josh is at 20 still.
he's got a Whisk Away and a Kill Shot in hand.
Yeah. He needs to keep developing his board. Oh, game over. Obs on Ascendancy off the top for Jake Mondello.
Oh gosh.
And I don't see how Josh comes back from this. That was a huge draw for Jake.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that just changes everything here. Josh was tentatively hanging on to the board there. And now,
now
Jake
everyone's
just doesn't care.
turning
You
sideways.
just get reckless.
His Air of the Wilds is a 4/4 with the Ferocious trigger.
No profitable blocks for the Sandbar here or the Morph. They may have to double block on something. Yeah, that was huge for Jake Mondello, just huge.
And he's going to get a 1/1 Spirit token off of the Air of the Wilds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Like 2 for 1? You're going to 2 for 1 yourself here now. Double block.
To kill the Morph, maybe.
Kill the Morph.
Kill the
and then
long
you
shot
get
squad.
But then they get a Spirit token back.
No, that Obs on Ascendancy off the top was just the most brutal thing that Josh could see there. It turned a board that was going to be one where maybe Jake started chipping away at him or had one good attack to one where Josh just can never really recover from this in a realistic fashion.
Josh does have to double block. He reveals the Elite Scale Guard.
Okay.
Gains 2 life. And so he gets to take 2 creatures down.
So unfortunately, that's going to leave Jake with 2 Spirit tokens here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Josh is going to take 6 too.
You know, Jake's feeling pretty good about it.
Well, we were talking from Josh's perspective.
And Josh,
You know, upside is he gets to take out a couple creatures. Downside is they come back. And Jake Mondello looks like he is in the driver's seat to lock up a top 8-bit here.
and Josh just has to pass. So whisk away, puts Obzon Guide on top, flip over a 7-power Woolly Loxodon before you've gotten your 4th mana.
This is going to put Josh to 1.
Yeah.
And that is going to do it.
And there's the hand. Jake Mondello, 14. He might be the top seed.
Wow, huge weekend for Jake. 14-1?
What a swing, right? You're like, wow, if I lose this next game, I might not make top 8 against Raptor, and then I win, and I'm the top seed sitting down for the draft.
Nary a smile here from Mandelo, though. He's cool as a cucumber in that tank top.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's well vented.
Yes.
A lot of air circulating. We have a pretty nice turbo match coming up for you. This is not the correct graphic on the bottom. The person on your right is YUUYA Watanabe, multiple-time Player of the Year, playing against Evan Wagstaff. Evan probably going through some similar emotions that Jake Mondello might have experienced. Yeah. So both of these players are at X and 2. And so this is for a slot and a win-in. I mean, YUUYA does not need the slot, obviously. But for Evan Wagstaff, this is, getting onto the Pro Tour. Take Up Arms, High Spire Mantis versus Mistfire Weaver.
All right, well, it looks like YUUYA is going to try to rebuild his board here, but he finds himself pretty far behind. Though Evan doesn't look like he wants to trade off his High Spire Mantis for the Weaver. Oh.
Actually, I'm just going to cast Russia Battle here.
Remember when I said pretty far behind? That just got upgraded to woefully far behind here.
All right. Lining up
a couple of chump blocks is what he was doing.
Highland Game, Hooting Mandrills, but we're at the send everybody in phase.
It usually means they've got it.
Harsh Sustenance you. Yeah.
You take 4, an extra 1 from the soldier or the warrior that got through, and that's it.
So Evan Wagstaff gets a quick game 1 against YUUYA Watanabe. Players deal out their starting 7. Watanabe's looking at his hand, says yep. Wagstaff says yep, and we're underway. Dismal Backwater on turn 2 after a Forest from Watanabe. Leaping Master from Evan Wagstaff. Another Game Land for Watanabe, a Jungle Hollow, and a Jeskai Sage morph for Evan Wagstaff, who has all 3 of his lands, Shermardu, in play, Mountain, Swamp, Plains.
YUUYA is representing Sultai lands here so far.
Oh, there's a Merrick Nightblade on turn 4.
That'll do nice work.
Another morph for Wagstaff. And then Lotus Path Djinn outlasts my Nightblade.
Nice turns here for both players.
Yeah,
really
both
kind
players
of
just
curving out.
getting to doing the things their decks want to do.
Yeah.
On turn, High Spire Mantis for Wagstaff.
Evan has missed a land drop here, it looks like. Is that even true?
Cash Defenses. Bolster 3.
Is that what that was? Oh, wow. That's huge.
Just sorcery speed, bolster 3, get in. But just say, oh, look at that, a High Sentinels of Irration for Evan Wagstaff.
They're everywhere. Not surprisingly, seen a lot of those in the future match area. Most of them in the hands
Still
of Christian
a 4/4
Calcano.
Jeskai Sage. 1 counter on the Nightblade. You know what? We're all attacking, says YUUYA. I've got 4 cards in my hand. You make a decision.
Is this desperate? Or is he just straight up ahead?
I mean, pretty ahead so far, but you know that could change pretty quickly on the High Sentinels.
I think that's what he's trying to do, is minimize the impact that the High Sentinels has on the game by being super aggressive and forcing trades. You know, if he just sits there and just stares at a High Sentinels, it's just going to start throwing counters around and make combat impossible for YUUYA. So he's got to put the pedal to the metal and try to make something happen, though, you know, this could go awry for him. I don't think he has a huge choice in the matter.
So we've got a Chumping Leaping Master, but we also have an Awaken the Bear from YUUYA Watanabe to make that chump less appealing, and that's game for YUUYA Watanabe. He just pushed his advantage.
Way ahead on life there.
Yeah.
Woo! That was sweet.
Yeah, Wagstaff is going to start on 6. He's going to beat the multiple-time Player of the Year in Game 3. It is not going to be with 7 cards. He keeps 6, comes out with a Mountain, Jungle Hollow for Watanabe. He has a Highland Game on turn 2. Gore Swine on turn 3 for Wagstaff. Highland Game gets in for 2. And a Frontier Mastodon comes down for Watanabe post second main phase, with trades with the Gore Swine and a morph for Wagstaff. He doesn't accept the trade for the Highland Game. Face up Mistfire Weaver from Watanabe. All right, the lands are starting to come now. Harsh Sustenance kills the Mistfire Weaver.
1.
Yeah, for 1. Get in for 2 with my morph. 5 mana, say go, YUUYA Watanabe. Players just trading back and forth.
No, it was just nothing.
No block, no attack from Wagstaff on his morph.
It's kind of weird sequence there for Watanabe. He left all 5 mana, passed, took the turn, played a land, and then played a morph face.
6, played Abomination of Gadul for 6.
Kind of weird. When he just played it as a morph.
Yeah. In comes the Abomination, loots away a land, and then delve away and play Hooting Mandrills. Wagstaff unmorphs his Ponyback Brigade at the end of the turn. That's kind of what he was protecting earlier. You can see that he's holding, there's a Mardu Rough Rider. You can see that he's holding a Russia Battle.
So he's trying to set up a big flurry finish here. He's trying to figure out how Evan would block and what that would look like.
Or how he'd like Evan to block.
I mean, you got to figure he's going to throw a goblin in front of the...
Yeah, for sure.
Though, Evan, if he does, you said he's got the Russia battle? You know, it's kind of interesting. Every creature counts in that scenario. Blocking, maybe you would rather give up a damage, but chump block Hooting Mandrills?
Yeah, blocks Hooting Mandrills, but 2 pump spells for Watanabe, and YUUYA Watanabe is through to his 432nd Grand Prix top 8 of his career.